What's up, Fantasy A-Team Nation? I'm your host, Josh Jenkins, and tonight's video, we are going to unveil our Week 7 top wide receiver matchups. But before I start the show, I'd like to welcome my good friend and co-host, Zach Roberts, back to the show. Welcome back, Zach.
Hey, thanks for having me, Josh. What's up, A-Team Fantasy Nation? Thanks for having me back. We appreciate all the loves, likes, subscribes, comments. We never thought we'd get this much support and stuff when we started these videos. So me and Josh are both surprised, but appreciate it majorly. So keep sharing and liking these videos and dropping your comments if you have any questions. I'm ready to get to this lineup, or not lineup, but this matchups. But before we do, we have Adams, Hill, Hopkins, and Kupp at the top of the list. If you have these guys, you drafted them for a reason. If they're not hurt or on a bye week, you got to start them. Cooper Kupp made the list this week, so look for him to be at the top of this list until he stops performing.
All right.
Who you got number one?
Number one, we're going to go with Jalen Waddle from the Miami Dolphins. Last week, 10 receptions, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 2 red zone targets as well. He actually returned a punt for 38 yards. This week, they go up against the Atlanta Falcons, ranked 23rd against the receiver.
Yeah, I love this matchup versus Atlanta at 23rd. They give up a lot of pass yards. Tua and Waddle have a good connection, a lot of chemistry. Whether it's him, Tua and Waddle, or even Brissett when he played, he had great connection with him. This Waddle guy as a rookie sure showed up and showed everybody that, hey, he can carry the load even when people like Devontae Parker have been out. With that said, Devontae Parker is back this week. Whether he'll draw the double team or Waddle, probably Waddle, but both of them are going to demand the ball, and I bet Waddle won't see much of a decline in his targets. He's just a super stud and a game breaker at this point, so he's one of their best options. I think he'll go for over 100 yards receiving and probably 2 touchdowns this week.
Yeah, I agree. They're ultimately going to have to double team one of these guys, and until Parker is able to prove himself after coming off that injury, I believe they will double team Waddle. And at that point, Parker starts catching a lot of balls, they may start double teaming them. But then, you got the tight end and you also got the running back coming out of the backfield too.
Yeah,
so,
I was just going to mention both those guys.
So actually, they've got too many weapons. Somebody's going to have a big game. And, it actually could be Parker and Waddle. We'll see.
Yeah, I believe though Waddle is your best bet, people. That's why we love this matchup. He's got hot. He's trending upwards. He's a player that's been heating up. Tua and him have good chemistry, and they're going against Atlanta, who gives up a lot of pass yards. So I think in this game, Atlanta may even be the people in maybe the team that starts to lead the game. But if that's said, there's going to be a lot of pass yards to try to catch up, and Waddle's their guy. He's their big play guy.
All right, next. Receiver I'm going to throw out there to you guys is the Deebo Samuels from the San Francisco Giants. Last week, week 6, was a bye week for those guys, so no fresh data. But this week, they go up against the Indianapolis Colts, ranked 21st against the receiver.
And Deebo Samuel is just a super stud, another game breaker. He's kind of like a Cordell Patterson. They want to get him the ball in space. He's big, hard to bring down, and runs fast. They had a bye weeks, which means they probably incorporated some extra stuff, some wrinkles just for Deebo Samuel. I look for him to probably have a huge game coming, and Garoppolo's trending towards playing. He's one of Garoppolo's favorite targets. Him and Garoppolo have a lot of chemistry. Indy gives up a decent amount of passing yards at 21st ranked. So I love this matchup, and Samuel has a chance to have a couple touchdowns, probably 125 yards or more receiving. And, they like to get him the ball on the ground too, we're in some end rounds and they line him up in the backfield. So he could get several rushes for, 30, 50 yards and probably even get another touchdown in the red zone. So, he could have a couple in the air and one on the ground. You never know, but I look for him to have a big game. That's why we love this matchup.
All right, folks. Next, we have the high-flying, Calvin Ridley from the Atlanta Falcons. Last week was also a bye week for those guys, so no fresh data. But this week, he battles the Miami Dolphins, ranked 30th against the receiver.
And so his team's battling Waddle's team. So there's, again, I believe both teams give up a lot of passing yards. So there's going to be a lot of yards to be had. Ridley used bye week to get healthy, and I'm sure they put some wrinkles in for him because the defense won't have anything of it on film if they line him up in a certain type of package or lineup that he hasn't been in before. So look for him to get the ball. They're ready to put him back in the offense. And Kyle Pitts had such a huge game that the defensive coordinator is going to have to compensate for what he's doing across the middle of the field and stuff. So I think Calvin Ridley's due for a big game. He is a game breaker too. He's shown that last year and when he's been healthy this year. So I believe he'll have a big game versus Miami. And I love this matchup. He'll probably go 100, 125 yards plus and a touchdown, maybe two. So start him if you got him.
All right, next, we're going to go with Cortland Sutton of the Denver Broncos. Last week, he had 8 receptions, 94 yards, 1 touchdown. They were looking for him all game long in the end zone because he had 4 red zone targets. This week, he'll battle the Cleveland Browns, 27th against the receiver.
Yeah, and that's why another reason why I love this matchup. They're 27th ranked. Cortland Sutton's a huge red zone target and big body guy, has great hands. And he and Bridgewater have a good chemistry already this year. And they, like you said, they've been looking to get him the ball. He has a lot of targets and he's good with his hands. He catches the ball a lot. He's had a few games this year where he's dropped the ball, had the dropsies, but I think he's kind of gotten over that mental hump. And against Cleveland, I think he has another great game. I love this matchup. And I look for him to have 100, 125 yards plus and probably 2 touchdowns. With all the red zone targets he gets, he's going to get some touchdowns, people.
All right, next, we're going to go with Antonio Brown from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Barring, him not being able to play because of his injury he sustained last week, we expect him to have a big game.
Yeah, they said it's an ankle injury, so they didn't say it was severe or a high ankle sprain, which means I believe by game time he'll be ready to play. He's a veteran. He knows he can go out and play a little bit through pain. He's a good player. He's done this before. He played for the Steelers. He usually didn't miss a game when he played there, so I think he'll buck up, play great. There's another offense that's hard to dictate who's going to get the ball, but Antonio Brown and Tom Brady, for not really playing much together other than last season, they have a great chemistry together. So I look for Antonio Brown when he's on the field, look for him to get the ball. I mean, if he gets open, he's going to get the ball. Him and Brady reads all the reads before he throws pretty much, unless someone's wide open. So during this 17th ranked, matchup, I think Brady's going to shred Chicago, and Antonio Brown and the rest of them will be beneficial from it. So I look for him to have a great game. I like this matchup. If he's healthy and if he's a starter.
Yeah, I will throw out his stats from last week. He had 9 receptions for 93 yards, 1 touchdown, even had 1 red zone target. And like Zach said, they're going up against Chicago, ranked 17th against the pass.
And look at that, people. He had 9 catches, right? Is that what you said?
9 catches, yes.
Yeah. So how many targets? More than that or what?
Yes, it was more.
Yeah. So think about that. And that offense with all those options are giving him that many opportunities. So I believe as long as he's a healthy go, man, he's going to continue to get the ball. Brady loves him. So he's having a great season.
All right. Last but not least, we're going to throw out there Brandon Cooks from the Houston Texans. Last week, he had 9 receptions, 89 yards. This week, he goes up against the Arizona Cardinals, ranked 24th against the receiver.
And that's why we like this matchup. We think that Arizona will go up big and Houston will have to climb their way out of it, which is what happened last week in their matchup. And that's why Brandon Cooks got a lot of targets. And it seems like that's kind of been what the blueprint for their games have been that they've lost. I don't think they can beat Arizona, so I think that's how this game's going to play out. So look for Cooks to get a lot of targets to try to keep them in the game, moving the ball down the field to try to put some points on the board. And I think he gets probably 7,500 yards receiving and a touchdown, maybe two.
All right, folks. There you have it. That wraps up our week 7 wide receiver matchups. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, hit that subscribe button. If you have any comments, questions, drop them down below or hit us at our Twitter page at Fantasy A Team 1. And remember, friends, don't let friends auto draft.